Theo, you're crossing. Come on. Yeah.
Good job.
Come on. Yes. Yes. Come on.
Come on, guys. Come on. Go, Theo. Theo, come on, Theo. Stay on the wheel.
The Hammer Cycling Series. 3 disciplines: climb, sprint, chase. Team versus team. No individual ranking. Each team has 7 riders. 5 riders are picked to score team points for each discipline. All 3 disciplines are raced on short circuit loops with points to grab on the first 2 disciplines. The climb. A 7-kilometre circuit with challenging gradients. 11 laps, 11 chances to score points. For every lap, the first 10 riders to cross the finish line score team points. On lap 3, 7 and 11, it's double points. Each rider must make it into the last lap for his points to count. The team with the most points wins the climb discipline. The sprint. A 12.5-kilometre circuit. 8 laps, 8 chances to score points. Same rules as for the climb, but this time laps 2, 5 and 8 earn double points. The final discipline is the chase. A fox and hound team chase raced over 3 laps on a 14.5-kilometre circuit. The best ranked team after 2 days starts in first position. They are chased. All the other teams try to catch Team 1, starting the chase on short pre-calculated time gaps, depending on ranking and additional bonus seconds from the first 2 disciplines. The team whose 4th rider crosses the finish line first wins the Hammer Series. "24 hours ahead of the Hammer Series. A new race. Nobody knows what to expect or which strategies to pull off. The excitement is palpable, both for the riders and for the fans. All eyes are on local hero Tom Dumoulin, who won the Giro d'Italia just days ago. The Dutchman returns home to where it all began. And that's what Hammer's all about. A new beginning, a new show for those who love cycling the most.
Maybe we're going to be a little bit like a little boy and jumping like, oh, what's going to happen, what's going to happen.
We're going into this blind just like the fans are. We have no idea what's going to happen, and it's pretty exciting.
Hammer is new because it's closer to the fans than any cycling event ever before.
As you can imagine, also is so super special. I hope there's a lot of people on the road, and it will be a very nice experience.
Hammer is different because it's a team event, but everybody counts.
I think we need all our riders. So you've got 7 riders and 5 start each day, but everybody's got their own strengths, and I think you have to play off each of those strengths in each of the events.
Climb, sprint and chase. 2 hours of full-speed cycling, and nobody knows exactly what's going to happen.
It's like taking the points race concept on the track with a bit of team road racing, and then just throwing a few other aspects into the mix as well. So going to give some real headaches to all the teams, I think.
The recipe must be found quickly because the future starts now. As the riders are getting ready, let's see how they prepare for the leap into the unknown. Welcome to the Hammer Series. You all know this is kind of a new race and we'll try to play a role in it. We'll need a lot of patience though, and the more you relax, the more you'll suffer. You need to keep your eyes open and stay focused. Carlos is in great shape. Let's give him some liberty. At the Hammer, it's not all about World Tour teams. There are also Continental Pro teams aiming high. As we're here, we want to shine. The level's very high. Many of the guys have raced the Giro d'Italia, but they're probably also a bit tired. We are super motivated to do well. For the climb, we sneaked in with Mario Manzoni, sporting director of Nippo-Vini Fantini. The climb begins in the picturesque town of Vals, near Valseburg, the highest point in the Netherlands, at about 300 metres.
First event in the Hammer series, it's the Hammer Climb. 7 kilometres in total, and it's pretty savage to say the least. 2 climbs on the lap. First climb is the shorter of the two, 900 metres, 4.2% average, 8.1% at its maximum, and that is just the hors d'oeuvre. That was the softener for the second climb. There's a very brief respite before they head into that second climb on the lap. 2 kilometres in total, 5.3% average, 8.5% maximum. They're going to be spending 44% of this race climbing, as 34.1 kilometres. It's as tough as you can imagine. A total of 22 summits, and they'll be sprinting for the points at the conclusion of every single lap. So it's going to be a testing and demanding one. We've got 12 World Tour teams. We've got another 4 teams from the Pro Continental Division 2 lineup, and the top teams in the world have made this event a priority. Bahrain Merida, BMC Canada, Lotto Soudal, Movistar, Team Lotto NL Jumbo, of course, local squad. Team Sky are here, and they've brought Eli Viviani, among others. Team Sunweb have got, well, the man of the moment, Tom Dumoulin. And they finally get the gunshots sent on their way. Short neutralized section and then straight into the action. So it's not going to be long before they're released into the pain and suffering that is the Hammer series. Hammer time.
Yep, just 900 metres neutral. So they go away from the Koningen Julianaplein in the middle of Vals, downtown Vals, small village here in Limburg. Really beautiful place to visit. They'll roll away into the Bosstraat, and then it's in a straight line uphill to join the circuit. Now they are on the course proper. You see the Vals town sign in the background. They squeeze through that little traffic island section.
Already it's Quick Step that are on the attack, and that's how you have to play it.
Well, that's what Tom Steele said to his team. When it starts, just go full gas. Well, message received and understood.
Okay, so quick reminder, we have got points every lap. It's on the finish line at the end of the second climb. So we have 2 climbs. The first climb is just under 1 kilometre, and that's a little leg breaker just to soften you up for the real push. 2 kilometres of the second climb, the Valseburg, which brings us up to Drie Landenpunt, and that's 5.3% average, 8.5% maximum. And there are, as I say, points every lap. Double points on the line on laps 3, 7, and the final lap 11.
And they've now just crossed the Belgian border. That's the start of the descent. But at the bottom, heavy braking, a left-hand hairpin corner off camber, a little dip down. It's a little bit treacherous. Riders have to be careful first time, get a good idea of that corner and keep it upright.
And another acceleration point, which just adds to the physical demand of this course. It's technical, and when it's technical, it's physical.
And when you're at the back of the bunch like this, you're going to come down to that hairpin corner. It's going to be single file, and when they turn out of it and accelerate again, we're going to see that elastic band, and here it goes. They've come out of that hairpin corner now with the bull's arch over the road.
This is where these riders are really trying to establish an advantage. They know that they've stretched this one thin, and there's only one way to play it. Is no lack of intensity. We're on to the second climb. Second climb is the one that they pay points at. Leading up to the finish line, 8.5% at its maximum, and levels off a little bit at the top in the final 100 metres. But already there are riders who must be thinking that it's going to be very difficult. BMC have bossed this one on the climb. They've put 4 of their riders into that group and running for the line. They've got at least 2 of them in. Daniel Oss, the flowing tresses of the flamboyant Italian rider, puts himself into a perfect position to take top points at the summit of the first climb. And 10 laps remaining for the riders. It's Daniel Oss that picks up those times.
Half the peloton is out of the race.
When we noticed the start, how strung out it was immediately, we also noticed that some teams started at the front with the presentation. So we knew we were all together and we were at the front, so we said, hey, we need to go and take advantage, because we saw immediately from the car that the race strung out and that we already had, you know, from the front to the back, you already have 20 seconds almost, so, or more maybe.
And effectively, this race is almost turning into a time trial because it's riding in your red zone the whole way.
Nippo Fantini have put a rider into the front group, but of course he could do with a few teammates. But, well, Velosi finds himself in a chasing situation. He won the GP Città Lugano. Yuri Velosi of the Nippo Fantini.
Adesso devi stare calmo e devi essere intelligente, calma. Ce ne sono 2 per squadra, devi usare un po' anche la forza altrui. Ale Yuri, che siamo forti, ale.
Meanwhile, Theo Gegenhardt is full of beans, isn't he?
He's full of beans. He's the sort of pure climber that will just keep on keeping on. But Tom Dumoulin, he's seen the danger. Bettencourt jumps in his wheel. And Dumoulin had a quick look over and thought, the rest have sat up. I'm going to go all the way across. And they're now on the descent. Kilometre later, they'll be on the climb again.
Yeah, there can be no easing up, no letting up. Daniel Oss finding himself at the back of a little bit of a split, and there's only so many times you can cover those big efforts that are coming. Bettencourt aware of it. Bettencourt's up for the fight today, isn't he? And Team Movistar have got at least 2 riders in there. Marc Soler we've seen climbing well so far on this first event in the Hammer Series.
Try to be both in the points, guys. Try to be both of you in the points. It's double.
So now Tom Dumoulin has a little look around just to see where his Campenarts is going to come, and the run into the final moments of this third lap. Remember, double points, so they're definitely all going to be sprinting for this one. This is going to really count. It's going to make a big difference to the scoring order. Carlos Bettencourt gets himself into position, and Gegenhardt looks like he's full of fight. Not going to be able to rob the inside on this occasion. It's Bettencourt who's come with his climbing legs, put himself into perfect situation. The man from Movistar stretches his legs all too easy. Double points on the line, 20 points taken for Team Movistar. Gegenhardt as well to the fore. Listen to the cheers. Tom Dumoulin's come here to race.
And it's not over yet, because let's not forget, points for the first 10, still double points. So a lot of points still to be had for this next group coming across the line. Samuel Sanchez is up there, Tim Wellens, Luke Durbridge, Brambilla and Soler coming through the finish line. I don't think there's much that can put off Tom Dumoulin at the moment, and he was worried about the first hour. Well, he's getting through that with flying colours at the moment, leading the group on the climb now as they come up for lap 4. What I noticed is a lot of guys who have scored early are really getting in trouble now and even getting dropped out of this group. Oss is gone, Tim Wellens has just been dropped. So as time goes on, this group will be narrowed down. They've been racing so hard from the start. Velosi trying to sneak up the inside, but look at Bettencourt, just picks up the pace.
Sei un leone, grande Yuri. Ale, vincere, volatare, ale.
Veloci's going to go for this final turn. Bettencourt finds it relatively easy to sit in his wheel. I say that, he's grimacing. Veloci's gone for a big one. Here comes Bettencourt on the inside, but not quite able to get there on that occasion. He'll run all the way to the line, though. Veloci owns the final turn. Up to the line. Does he have enough to hold off the pocket rocket, the climber from Colombia? And Bettencourt has to give it up to Veloci on that occasion. What a great performance there from the Italian rider. Yuri Velosi in a fine situation now, as he's got a little bit of daylight between himself and Theo Gegenhardt of Team Sky. That's setting the tempo on the front of the group behind.
If you ever pull in, then continue to try to keep Movistar, Sky, BMC, Scott behind you.
Well, you know, sprint to get into that hairpin. Very steep on the inside. Dumoulin's taking the outside, less steep. Can he contend? Oh, he's looking like he's starting to hurt. Luke Durbridge on the front at the moment, just winding it up, time trial style. Big gear as well, Durbridge. If he can lead into this final corner, he's got a good kick out. Going for a long one, and Durbridge starts his sprint now.
Well, here comes Durbridge. He's trying to make them hurt before they get to this turn. Gegenhardt knows it's all about owning that turn. Here comes Dumoulin as well, and they all want to try and put Betancourt behind, but Betancourt's going to go round the outside to try and get into position, but going for the line. It's Theo Gegenhardt. Tom Dumoulin, he's going to break his heart. Here comes Carlos Betancourt at the death for second position, just about edges out Tom Dumoulin. So Team Sunweb are disappointed there, but good scoring for Team Sky. And the riders all in line astern. Tom Dumoulin it was who wanted to see the riders press on after that sprint. And Gegenhardt was up for the challenge. So too Carlos Betancourt. Oh, and Betancourt just gets it wrong there. Oh no, he's down. His Gegenhardt's down. He just missed it. Yeah, Gegenhardt finds himself off the bike. And that is desperately disappointing for the Englishman.
I wanted to attack out of that corner, so I just tried to push it to the limit, and just started to pedal a moment too early in the corner, I think, and just lost the back wheel. Not too bad. I was happy I didn't take anyone else out. So.
Stefan Kung is scoring well, isn't he? And setting a solid tempo, but Durbridge thinks that this is worth stepping up. Wants to try and develop this situation a bit. Kung taking sixth across the line last lap round. Orica Scott represented by Luke Durbridge, fourth around across the line. So it's Kung from Durbridge at the moment. Carlos Betancourt full of fight and recovers so quickly, so well, puts himself into position, looking over his shoulder into the final 200 meters. Brambilla wants to take this one. Betancourt is just so much stronger than Durbridge, and Kung can't really get the cadence required, get on top of that gear. And Carlos Betancourt, and he's such a short rider and low centre of gravity, just sprints across the line. It's another top haul of points taken by Carlos Betancourt of Team Movistar. Durbridge next up, Brambilla, and Dumoulin, Felosi and Kung.
Well, we see them come around the corner there. Just, we've seen this image a few times already out. Betancourt doesn't look any different this lap than he did 4 laps ago, sprinting like this.
Betancourt sitting solid in third position at the moment. Brambilla for Team Quickstep has Stefan Kung from Team BMC on his wheel, and Felosi from Nippo Vini Fantini looking for a little bit of instruction.
Non toccare. Mi va nei raggi se non sto attento. E non lo mettere sul più agile. Oh, sei qua in mezzo ai più belli, adesso... Quanto manca, 2 giri? Adesso come eri su 2 giri. L'ultimo sì, l'ultimo è punteggio doppio.
Carlos Betancourt of Colombia and Team Movistar just lurking and sitting in his wheel and just knowing that I think at any moment he's going to be able to break Victor Campenert's hearts into the barriers with just 2 hairpins to go. Behind, Gegenhardt has put himself now back onto the front in his battle with Team Sunweb for second position in this hammer climb. Campenertz will lead them up towards the final turn, and it's now that Carlos Betancourt takes position and has attacked. Carlos Betancourt, all too easy for the Colombian rider through the right-hander, looking for this left-hander, and look at what this means to him. He lifts the front wheel in a punchy sort of display that this has been a fighting effort from the Colombian rider. The Colombian climbing sensation is back on form, and Carlos Betancourt, as he has done throughout the day, is going to score maximum points. Shows the jersey and shows it well. It's top points for Movistar. In the sprint for the line, Campenertz has been caught. Tom Dumoulin is going to break Team Sky's heart. So it's Team Movistar that take the hammer climb ahead of Team Sunweb. Team Sky relegated to third. Orica Scott in fourth. BMC Nippo Vini Fantini managed to pinch sixth ahead of Quickstep Floors, and the extra second advantage that will pay them dividends on Sunday afternoon. Team Lotto NL Jumbo eighth, and with 3 seconds to pay into their bonuses. If it's Team Movistar that celebrates, they've got the early advantage. And they've got the bubbly to waste. A shocking waste of bubbles, that is.
Hammer Climb lived up to its promise. 2 hours of full-speed cycling from the get-go.
We said, hey, we need to go and take advantage, because we saw immediately from the car that the race strung out and that we already had, you know, from the front to the back, you already have 20 seconds.
Sei un leone, grande Yuri, grande, ale!
Luri Felossi shook up the field a couple of times. The Italian was pushing hard. I wanted to be prepared for the sprints. Then I did a great sprint, beating Betancourt. Then I saw I created a gap, and so I powered on into the pedals. But in the end, Carlos Betancourt took centre stage. He recovered from a series of disappointments to win an unbelievable 7 laps and earn 114 points for his team. I had very difficult days and I've suffered a lot. But we've made sacrifices and worked hard within the team and outside it. Many people have been there to help me. Today, we can see the result. To be in top position together with my team is simply great. The climbs are done. Ahead of the Hammer sprint, it's back to square one.
I think being flatter, it should be easier to control, but you never know. If the right teams are in the move, it goes, because there's not enough teams to bring it back. So it's definitely a different style.
The wind could be a decisive factor on the long straights of the fast flat course in Sittard.
You have just 5 guys, and it's more than 10 laps, so everybody has to go a few times.
Get ready. Hammer's about to show a new face. Only 30 kilometres away from the location of yesterday's climb, today's sprint takes place in the beautiful town of Sittard. Before we get to the heart of the action, Robbie McEwen takes a break from the commentary box and has a chat with the riders getting ready for the sprint.
To someone from Sky, you didn't ride yesterday, the Hammer Climb, for obvious reasons, being a sprinter, but today is your day. Out of the Giro d'Italia and lining up now for the Hammer sprint today. These flat, fast opening kilometres, struggling with the pace. Oh, they've released and even got 2 cars.
Let's have a look at what the racers have in store for them today. It's 8 laps in total, 12.5 kilometres of a circuit that is pretty much pan flat throughout. Few little drags, but nothing of any significance. We leave the sports zone through that sort of technical little departure and then head out on the open roads. At one road and then a bit of a turn and then back another one. But they've managed to design a course that has reduced the race furniture that is so prevalent in so much of Dutch racing and really presented Limburg in fine fashion. Flat open roads, and they will sprint at the conclusion of each of 8 laps. Remember, we've got double points on offer on laps 2, 5 and 8 on the finish line. And there is the significant statistics of what's going to be won for the sprinters today as the Hammer sprint gets set to go underway. As we go through the team list, 16 teams in total, 12 of them, of course, are World Tour squads. There are 6 pro-continental outfits, of which the best performing yesterday was Nippo Vini Fantini in 6th position. Of course, Movistar have the advantage. They've scored 15 bonus seconds. Team Sunweb 12 bonus seconds for their 2nd position yesterday. Scrolling down through the list, there's some great sprinters on offer today. Elia Viviani will be on duty for Team Sky and ready to do the business. Chomping at the bit this time. Eventually the gun is fired and Well, they're crowding around the race director's car today. That's not something that we saw yesterday. There was a little bit of a speedy neutralised section, and it played a role in yesterday's the destination of yesterday's honours.
It did play a role, so they're making up for that today, making sure everybody's off the line, clipped in, up to speed before they release them. Even got 2 cars to block this whole circuit. They are away.
Well, the flag's in, and the Hammer Sprint is underway. The second part of the first Hammer Series event in Limburg, and immediately, well, Caleb Ewan wants to make sure that he's thereabouts at the front. Not going to get caught out, as indeed so many of other riders were yesterday. He wasn't.
One not getting caught out is Sepp van Mark, and that's him going on the attack now. He's one of the very first ones to go out the back yesterday after that lightning fast start. He was really in trouble, so he's looking to make up for that today. Sepp van Mark in the first real attack of the race. Team Sky, the ones doing the chasing and closing that gap down as they take the right-hand turn onto the Bergstraat. And no Bergs here. Oh, there's a crash.
Oh, and a crash down already. Quick Step and Rural involved in that one. Disappointment. And, well, that is not exactly what the doctor orders. At Cavagna, I think it might have been one of the heroes from yesterday. And Irisari from Rural. Well, that's what makes the Hammer Series just so interesting, isn't it? That it is for all-rounders. It requires such a variety of abilities. And there you have Boswell now just managing to get back onto the wheel here, but there's the gap's splitting up.
And this corner here, this right long hairpin, this is at the last long straight up to the finish line. So the riders are just inside now, 650 metres to the sprint. That Sturven goes again. He's trying to ride them out of the wheel. 2 have come across. So we have 4 riders off the front coming to the first intermediate sprint. Sepp van Mark has made his way across, and one of the riders from Caja Rural. So Sepp van Mark has crossed that gap, and he's got teammates at the front of the bunch policing, trying to let that gap open up. It's Bahrain Merida who go out after him. A long, long effort. Caja Rural on the front. Sepp van Mark comes out of the wheel and looks like the man from Cannondale Drapac is going to take the first points of the Hammer Sprint.
Well, Sepp van Mark, the Belgian Classics star, is going to get the first sprint.
It's a real tactical and powerful effort, so it's not all about the sprint. And also you see a lot of point is caught by classic rider because they continue in attack and they take point.
Daniel Oss in this breakaway as well, the BMC man taking his turn on the front. It smells like it might be Roger Kluger from Orica Scott who's got in there as well. And here we have some onboard footage from Yves Lampaert. He's got Roger Kluger in his wheel. Kluger sitting last in the group at the moment as they line up for the sprint, and has been an attack by the Trek Segafredo rider, so he has jumped away off the front to go for these double points. He's still got about 400 metres to go. He's inside the gates now, so just hitting 250. Roger Kluger, he moves out of the group now to chase him down.
So looking good for Trek Segafredo to take the double points on offer. They're going to be able to close this one down as Kluge is about to be usurped by Yves Lampaert in the run to the line. No question that was some impressive work done by the Trek Segafredo squad.
Well, look at the gap that's opened up from that attack by Kinziata, but really fast cooperation. One of the Sunweb riders getting across at the last moment. So Yellow Alaeus up there, Manuel Kinziata. There's Tom Scully from Cannondale Drapac who's got himself into the move. And Tom Leeser from Lotto Jumbo NL. So a really handy group. And number 93 from the Sunweb team is Raymond Sinkeldam. He's the man come in to replace Tom Dumoulin. So a quick check over the shoulder by by Tom Scully rather, to see where the peloton was at, and he wouldn't have seen them yet because they've opened up a really good gap. But look at them getting tactical now. They're looking over the shoulder, looking at each other, sizing each other up. It's Sinkeldam who goes and turn of speed, jumps away.
Sinkeldam goes first. No one covers it. Laser comes from the back, but he's got a long way to cover this one. Scully in the green of Cannondale Drapac is next over. Yellow Alaeus is struggling a little bit as they're coming to this sprint, and Kinziato's next up. So it's Sinkeldam that's safely through.
Yeah, it was full gas from the start. And just before the third passage of the finish line, there was a small break with 5 guys. And I was sprinting for the points, of course, and I could win the sprint. Took 10 points, and then like 500 meters after, I was involved in a crash.
Oh, and this crash in the bunch, and it looks like Team Sunweb have come to grief. Oh, and that hurts. There's no doubt about it. Could it be singled down?
That is singled down.
Now we've got another attack up front. And Trek Segafredo, Lotto Soudal, and Nippo Fantini represented in their first move of the day.
And I think that is Jasper Stuyven from Trek Segafredo here in third position, who's forced this move, followed by one of the riders from Lotto Soudal.
So guys, out of the three that are in the front, there's no teams there that are going to bother us, so that's fine. That's fine. Let's just keep covering these moves and try and pick off some points in these sprints.
So that's Matthew Wilson thinking about the big picture. Now, he knows Trek Segafredo are leading and they're in line to get some big points and take the time bonuses associated with that and take those into the team's time trial. But that's what Matthew Wilson is thinking of. He's looking at their team lineup and thinking, doesn't matter if they take 15 seconds and get some time on us because we've got them covered in the team's time trial. He's confident with that. He's looking at teams with a strong team's time trial setup like Team Sky. That's the kind of team he wants to stay in front of and be able to start in front of with a gap when it comes to the hammer chase. So it's getting really tactical, thinking even another day ahead, not just about the sprint points.
That's some pretty impressive and very sophisticated tactical thinking so early in this inaugural hammer series. We're going for the fourth sprint of the afternoon indeed as we sprint for the line. Who's going to get this one? Canolo fancies it, but Stuyven, I think, just about managed that one. Jesper Stuyven takes top points once more. Trek Segafredo extending their advantage, always assuming they managed to put another rider into the mix here. Cannondale Drapac are in contention, and Team Sky have put a couple of riders into score here. Bahrain Merida as well in strong position was Elio Viviani up there. Could have been 3 Sky riders to the 4 there, so nice scoring from Team Sky. Came at a good time.
We don't have, as a Team Sky, a good start. After the first 2 sprints, we have 0 points, and we are a little bit worried about that. Tao Geoghenaert pulled from the 5K to go to 3K to go, and then Van Poppel do a good job to lead out me in the last corner, and then I am the faster in this group, and then I need to take this point to put Team Sky in a good position in GC.
Lars Boom, he looks like he's been caught back in this group as well. It's number 71 in the yellow. And here's De Buschere. He's going to try and make a last-ditch acceleration. Yves Lampaert from Quickstep Floors is the man who goes with him. So De Buschere says, well, it's all or nothing to get across. Number 107, that is Boy Van Poppel, Trek Segafredo. So they have been all over everything. Dibben knows he has to try and get across too. The rest in this group, well, they look like they have had enough. The rider from Nippo Fantini, well, they'll be happy just to score some more points. They're in 10th position at the moment, but they are very, very close to 5th place of Orica Scott. They're only a point behind them.
Will Sepp van Mark go for the early one? That's his normal way. Might change his tactics in a 2-up sprint.
Well, he may not know how fast Canola is. We saw just before Canola really pushing some of the bigger name sprinters all the way to the line. So Sepp van Mark might get himself a nasty surprise when he goes to take on Canola. He lines him up, fakes it.
Well, he only knows one way, doesn't he? And he's not going to get on the pedals first. It is indeed Canola that's going to start the sprint, and inside 150 to go. It's going to be tough for Sepp van Mark to come around him, and van Mark has already resigned to 2nd place. Good point scoring from Canola. They get the bell. 1 sprint left after this.
We kept the pace high, and he took the first sprint and I took the last sprint, and yeah, I think if you don't work well together, then then you both don't get any points, and the difference between the double points and the single points were not that big, so let's say we shared it.
It's Canola that's going to lead this final sprint of the day. And here comes Sepp van Mark. He knows he has to start it first, and Canolo's just a bit used up. He hasn't got the legs for it. They've shared the sprints. It's Sepp van Mark that's going to get the final sprint of the day. He's going to act like it's a victory, but I tell you what, it is a good haul of points for Cannondale Drapac as they get up for 2nd. So Trek Segafredo win the hammer sprint by just under 9 points from Lotto Soudal. Cannondale Drapac score well to finish third, with Team Sky set to benefit most from a fine fourth place ahead of the pro-continental outfit Nippo Vini Fantini. Lotto Enel Jumbo, Team Sunweb and Bahrain Merida round out the top 8, with hammer climb winners Movistar 12th on day 2. Time to waste some bubbly, and they've certainly earned it, haven't they? What a great performance throughout the afternoon from Trek Segafredo.
Team Trek Segafredo was dominating hammer sprint. A breathtaking high-speed race from the moment the starter's gun fired.
I was full on the race from start to finish, so it was we were all in front the whole time, so it was good to keep the view.
It took a little while for the real sprinters to strike, but on lap 5, Team Sky emerged victorious.
We need to take the double sprint for back in the race because we are really too far back. I move well in the middle of the group and then I go 150 meters to go. It's a good distance for me, so I'm quite fast.
Sky's third place in the climb and fourth position in the sprint secures pole position in the chase today, but their lead is a mere 32 seconds.
We just have to go as fast as we can. And what it makes it a little bit complicated is like a normal team time trial. You try to do steady and don't start too fast. But the thing that can happen here, if you start like a little bit too slow, the team behind you catch you, and then you have to battle with this team.
Almost the same course, but different rules. Hammer Chase, a 45-kilometre team time trial.
There's also a little bit of tactic involved, I think, not like a normal TTT.
The team time trial, but where you've actually got like a carrot in front of you or the fear of someone coming up behind you. It's going to be difficult not to go out the blocks like a greyhound and then fade. Yeah, it's going to be mad.
Anything is possible, but one thing is certain. The first team across the finish line wins the Hammer Series.
We're at Sittard Helene, the Tom Dumoulin Cycle Park in Sports Zone Limburg. And about to make our way. It's a total of 14.9 kilometres. The circuit just winds its way out of Sports Zone and then heads out into what's a fundamentally flat course and fundamentally identical to yesterday's stage, with the addition of 2.5 extra kilometres that are bolted on just to give us the distance. The 3 laps make up a total of 45 kilometres of racing. It's a pretty long time for just 5 riders to be working in unison, absolutely flat out. And remember, they've got to bring 4 home to the line. It's the 4th rider over the line that counts. That's what they're facing. Not too much in the way of climbing. It's going to be pretty difficult.
So many turns. In other TTTs, when you make a mistake once, it's easier to get on the back.
Now it's crunch time. The best 8 teams are almost ready to go. Team Sky is the one to chase.
So if one feels he is almost at the end, then just give everything. And but of course, it would be really good if you can stay with 5 as long as possible, because that gives a really big difference in recovery in the wheels. If you lose 1 or 5, it's 20%.
There you have the gaps. It's 32 seconds between Team Sky are first away and Team Sunweb second into action. Nippo Vini Fantini are a full minute behind Team Sky. Lotto Soudal, Movistar team, the Cannondale Drapac squad, Orica squad, Team Lotto Enel Jumbo will be fully 2.25 minutes behind Team Sky. And the hammer chase is underway as Team Sky have the biggest gap between the riders, between the teams. It's behind them.
But at the end, it's always best to start first. So we don't need to take time back on any other team, which the other teams have to do.
And Team Sunweb are away. The chase has begun.
The gap is 30 seconds. Everything is possible. It's 45k. I think we have a strong team also, with a good few time trialists.
but these are big, strong guys. This is Max Walskade, we can see.
He's as big as they get.
He's about as big as you get in cycling. I'd almost say he's almost too big to put him on a bike. It'd have to be reinforced to put up with the power he's putting out.
This is the battle for third place. So Lotto Soudal already into action and without any difficulty as they just move ahead of Nippo Vinifantini, the pro-continental team, without too much difficulty, and that's really going to form, isn't it? Because Nippo Vinifantini not particularly expected to excel at this, despite the great heroics from Yuri Filosi, Marco Canola over the last couple of days. And look at this, as we see Team Sunweb have already closed the gap, because we're getting the indication that they've managed to close in by 8 seconds. They started this time trial 32 seconds behind Team Sky. They're now just 23 seconds, so that's 9 seconds gained. On Cannondale Drapac, we might have expected them to step up a little bit. Orica Scott have moved ahead of Cannondale Drapac. They're dropping back into the clutches in turn of Team Lotto NL Jumbo. Team Lotto NL Jumbo started the 8th of these squads out here. Team Cannondale Drapac was 6th off the start line. Nippo Vinifantini are one squad that are instructed to drop a little bit further behind. They've got a Lotto Soudal rider for company. That's Louis Vervec, who's trying to relocate his teammates. Just show you what an interesting scenario. And it's Dibben, he's finally cried enough, and it just has been an unequal scrap for him lately. And they're down to 4 up front. Critical moment for Team Sky.
It is absolutely critical, and Dibben not able to recover enough in last position to hang on into this last lap. 17.5 kilometres to go, and now the advantage swings firmly to Team Sunweb. We saw this in the last race. Quick step down to 4. We thought they were done for. They end up winning that scrap for the 9th to 16th places, so much can still happen. But Sunweb, I think this puts them, even though they're not in front yet, puts them in the driver's seat.
Okay guys, come on, accelerate again. Come on, time gap stays the same now, eh? Come on, 16 seconds we are in front. Come on guys.
The chase, there's also a little bit of tactic involved. I think not like a normal TTT. You always have to look behind. So maybe you have to slow down a bit to save energy for the final 10 kilometers.
5 seconds is the advantage. 8 kilometers left, just around about 5 miles of racing. It's a lifetime for these riders. Wayne Dool, Teo Geoghegan Hart, Danny Van Poppel and Elia Viviani are still in action. John Dibben has given his best through the 3 days and has contributed manfully to their effort. Team Sky now with this advantage.
The key to divide your race and make it your own race instead of going too fast in the start and yeah, drop a lot of speed in the finish.
Well, it's looking like they're just going to line them up and go straight past and get into a dominant position and make Team Sky try and sprint their way back past them. Be interesting to see what happens now once the pass is made. Team Sky, if they'll slot in, if they'll stay to the side, and when will they try to repass Team Sunweb and sprint their way to the line to try and win this Hammer Series?
Yeah, they've lost their riders, so they're down to 4 riders. So Team Sunweb have made the sacrifice, and that's Albert Timmer, who's done a lot of long turns lately. So now it is 4 against 4 in the final 700 meters. Sky are trying to step it up to get control into the final corner, and there's a big push, and I'm not sure who that is. Could it be Geoghegan Hart perhaps on the back that is struggling to stay in the wake? What a turn from Team Sky. They're coming up on Team Sunweb. They want to own the inside. It's Danny Van Poppel who's leading Team Sky, and they're getting control on the right-hand side of the road. Team Sunweb have made the big push. They're in amongst each other. It's all about the 4th rider over the line. So watch to see who is the final rider of this group of riders that goes over the line. That means they're second.
Well, Team Sunweb, they really need to line up the Sky Riders now and get their 4th man, and that's going to be Cumner, who needs to get past Geoghegan Hart. What a sprint finish going to be in a team's time trial. Never seen this before.
Well, look at this, in the run to the line. It's all about Viviani on the front, trying to tow his teammates in his wake. The Sunweb riders are trying to stay with them, and it's all about the final rider. rider. Look at Gegenhardt is struggling. He's got 3 Sunwebs crowding him around. We're watching at the back riders because those are the significant riders. 3 Sunwebs about to break the hearts of Team Sky. Team Sky, I'm not sure they can hang on. Could it be that they get to the line? It could be. It's going to be Team Sky. Team Sky are going to win the Hammer Series. They get their 4th rider in position, and they know it, and they played it absolutely perfectly, and they have won the Hammer Series by just 1 second after 3 tough days of racing. Well, that was absolutely fabulous. Fantastic action and wonderfully played by Team Sky.
Oh, well, what a finish. They led into that final corner. They wanted to own it. They followed instructions of their team director, Carnarvon. They got in there, but Gegenhardt, he was looking in trouble. They had him lined up, but he pulled out something extra as now the sprint for 3rd. Lotto Soudal come through. Orica Scott, they seem to have 3 riders through, 4 now through. So it's going to be a battle. I think Lotto Soudal had their 4th rider just in front of that of Orica Scott.
This is the first time they've got to spray the bubbly. Great consistency through the first couple of days, giving them that advantage on day 3. And the bonus seconds to go with it, and Team Sky can celebrate.
When they chase us, we don't know what we do, but they play a little bit the game, they rest a little bit behind us, and then we say, okay, give him in the space, and then we see for the sprint. We have 3 fast sprint and fast sprinter, and Tao do a good job to do 4th.
Yeah, I think for sure the lead-outs that I've been a part of this year with Elia has helped a lot. But I'm lost for words at the last kilometre or 500 metres that Van Poppel just pulled out there. I think it was unbelievable how fast he overtook them, and I was already sprinting from about 600 metres to go, so I think everyone was on the limit the last metres, and thankfully I had a bit more than those Sunweb guys, so yeah, it was a good job by the whole team, I think.
We tried to stay as long as possible with 5, and we made a decision to overtake just before the city. And my role was after on the big road to make the gap as big as possible. But yeah, with Sky they have also strong riders, and it's all about the last corner now. And yeah, I think in the end they were the better sprinters in the team time trials. So yeah, that's the game. But it was a really nice one. I really liked it.
Team Sky 1 second ahead of Team Sunweb after 3 great days of action. 45 kilometres to conclude in the Hammer Chase, and it's Team Sunweb that's going to have to be satisfied with 2nd. Orica Scott getting up for deserved 3rd place after racing through the field.
We said at the start, Hammer is new, it's different, it's the future. And the future sure packed a punch over the last 3 days. Seriously demanding, seriously fast. Tough for the riders, fantastic for the fans. The incredible battle in the chase between Team Sky and Team Sunweb ensured that this first edition of the Hammer Series ended on a high. Real drama, flat-out cycling, and the narrowest of winning margins. The world's finest teams pushed to the max. Hammer, bike racing reimagined. Goodbye from Limburg.